Good evening. I'm Vince Palmieri, President of the Asian Pacific Community Awareness, Inc., and we're here at the Red Rock Country Club this evening talking with APRIL ARNDT, and she's running for AD 21. Is that correct?
That is correct.
April, the first question, I guess this is a question everybody asks a candidate, is why do you want to run? Because there's so much that goes on in politics today. You'd have to be a warrior in order to want that position.
Well, that is a good question, and I think I am the warrior for this district. As a law enforcement officer for the last 2 decades, I am committed to serving the citizens, and I think I'm the right person with that skill set to move forward and take that fight to Carson City. I think more now than ever we need strong leaders that are willing to fight and have life experience that can speak to those issues. I've seen firsthand the benefit of good and bad legislation and how it affects businesses when I worked in property crimes. As a financial detective or investigator in financial crimes, I see the benefits and detriments of certain legislations in those entities. As a special victims unit detective, I've worked with doctors and hospitals and social services, senior services, and have seen firsthand how good and bad policies affect those entities. I'm deeply committed to public service. I think this next legislation is going to be very significant with the veto minorities, or majorities, I apologize, veto majorities at risk. I think our governor needs a team of support and somebody that will protect the veto. So I am running for those reasons.
What are the 3 most important issues in your mind?
Well, I think they're the same issues that most Nevadans have. I'm very concerned about our economy, and I think one of the arms to bringing some relief to Nevada is to bring diverse businesses to our economy bringing diverse businesses so that our economy is less vulnerable to the economic downturns. Obviously, as a mother of 3, I'm very concerned about our school system. We've been last in the nation since I've moved here, or second to last. I would like to champion parental rights and parental choice in our school district and for Nevada. And of course, public safety. That is my skill set. I would like to revisit some of the legislation or policies that have been enacted in the last few sessions that really put suspects at an advantage and victims at a disadvantage, and be a part of creating new legislation that holds those that commit crimes to stricter penalties and protect and safeguard the rights of our citizens.
So if you get elected, what would be the first piece of legislation that you would write?
I would support any. I know the governor's already started great work in school choice, and I would support the existing bills that unfortunately were not heard in this last legislation as far as school choice and parental choice. There was a lot of good legislation that never made it to the floor, and I think we need to get those at least heard in the legislature.
I think also education is extremely important, because if we want to turn the state around or the country around, we need to do it from the bottom up, and in my opinion, from the bottom up is from K to K-12, and our kids need to be educated better. Being a law enforcement officer, I'd like to ask you a question, because this year our nonprofit, we had a Spring Festival luncheon, and we had 2 members of Metro who were part of the human trafficking task force, and they spoke to us. What would you do if you're an assemblywoman? as far as human trafficking. Is that something you would get involved in?
I've never worked with human trafficking directly. As an officer, I did what they refer to as computer crime zone lurings, which surprisingly is like shooting fish in a barrel. I mean, it's a real problem that leads to human trafficking. I'm not currently aware of any legislation out there that negates it, but I would absolutely support it. I think being in a transient state that we're more prone to it, and I think it's definitely, from what I saw in my experience in computer crimes, where we did lurings, which is all digital lurings of minor children for the purpose of illegal activity, is that it is not a rare issue. It's a very common issue, and so I think we need to start looking progressively at the means at which they're facilitating those types of crimes, and see where we can reduce it or put legislation in that cuts off those pipelines to such crimes. If that makes sense.
So we know that everyone's concerned about inflation and the economy, and as an assemblywoman, what could you do to help the state of Nevada in those areas?
I think we need to bring diverse businesses here. I think we need to bring something, although our industry is here, gaming industry and tourism is a huge deal, and gaming gives back a lot to our community. In fact, I believe it's 80% of our tax revenue, but I think we need to diversify that to stimulate our economy, to bring not only diverse businesses, but good paying jobs to Nevada, that we can provide other entities and outlets to bring higher paid positions.
I agree that we need more white collar jobs, but the problem I see there is, do we really have the talent right now in this state to attract those jobs here? As I know I talked to a couple of candidates last year about the same topic, and they said the problem is you can probably get them to come here, but then who's going to fulfill those jobs? Just like right now in the military, there's a shortage of people wanting to get into the military, and even the military is complaining that almost 75% of the people that want to enlist are not qualified.
Okay.
So that's where education comes in again, that we have to increase and jump from number 50 to 25, if that's possible, in the next couple of years, to have the talent. But how would you go about bringing, the first business that comes to my head is because our healthcare industry here is terrible.
That's right.
I think Mayo Clinic is something that we need here in Las Vegas.
Absolutely.
How would you go about bringing a business like the Mayo Clinic here? What could Las Vegas do? What could Nevada do to attract them to come here?
Well, and I think
besides going to the gaming tables.
Sure. I would agree with you. I think one of the huge issues we have, not only in education but in healthcare, is that our good doctors are leaving, and I think part of that, we have to look at why they're leaving, what the reasons are that they're leaving, and we have to resolve those issues. Same with teachers. They're leaving. Good teachers are leaving because our state is no longer a fruitful place for them to thrive is professionals. So I think we have to do both those things, is find out why the doctors are leaving. I suspect it has to do with different restrictions and regulations and bureaucracy within the healthcare system that we need to look at. And if that means reducing some of those things so that we can bring the Mayo Clinic, that we can attract some of those entities, I think that's where we need to start. And like you said, one of the things is our workforce pool is minimal. I had talked to one of the folks that represents the autos, the auto retailers, and they partner with different schools. That college isn't the only avenue. That maybe we have our partners in business partner with some of our education, so that our youth have another option other than college if they're not college bound. That we can partner with businesses to bring some of that and create a workforce before they ever even leave high school.
Right. In closing, I want to give you some time if there's a special message that you'd like to give to our viewers.
I think in politics there are a lot of good people and there are a lot of good candidates, but I can tell you it's not just being a good candidate, it's being a good candidate in the right district. And is it winnable for you? Are you the best fit for your district? And I think that's what sets me apart, is not only do I have a skill set that's heavily rooted in our every area of business and social entities in Nevada, is that I have a special, unique skill set, but I think I am the best candidate for my district. Not to say that anybody isn't a great person or a smart person, but I think you really have to match your candidate with your district. And I think that's important, that I can win the general. I can beat the sitting Democrat in that seat, and I have the skill set to do that and a long history of fighting for Nevada.
Well, I'd like to thank you for taking the time to sit with us and talk with us and letting our viewers know who you are and what you're about, and we want to wish you good luck in your campaign.
Thank you. I appreciate your time. Thank you.